I might post this video. So I live in Pueblo West, out in county, and we had the fire, the Aspen Ridge fire. I don't know if it's true or not, right? Obviously don't spread rumors, but whatever. So my father-in-law was saying that, it's possible that it was started by, the power company. And I'm like, well, that makes sense, because to me, it's like, well, obviously the government did it, and, obviously, I should not burn firewood because, it's too dangerous for people that are private citizens to have, burn barrels. So I'm driving back from the dump right now, $67. I gotta go and grab another load of lumber, and that's another $27. And another load and another load, so 27, 27, 27, all burnable material, right? And it's like, living in county, sometimes we just burn stuff because, a lot of times it's just lumber. Like, it can be burned. Like, we don't need to pay an extra $300 or $400 this month to just get rid of standard materials. The rest of it, yeah, it's going to the dump, all those things. But, obviously I should do my due diligence and just, fork out hundreds of dollars because, the power company isn't capable of, taking care of itself. And I don't even know if it was the power company. Honestly, I think it was the government. I'm going to blame the state of Colorado. I'm going to blame everybody in power, politicians, whoever, right? Because really when it comes down to it, it doesn't matter if it was their fault or not. The fallout is my insurance just went up $550 a month. So not only am I a bad citizen who needs to pay, more gas, more taxes, more trash fees, irresponsible. While I'm driving to the dump and I'm on my phone making a recording, obviously some flock camera is going to catch me. Here I am driving with one hand, talking on the phone. Obviously I'm a bad citizen. I should be billed for, driving while paying attention, which is just disgusting. So, they can just bill me for that, and then they can also bill me for, needing to go and use the dump. They can bill me for the gas. They can bill me for my time and energy. They can increase my cost of living in the last 30 days by $550. My square foot went up, so that's another $150 a month. And then, just for shits and giggles, let's slap on another $183 because, your house is now more valuable. So, obviously you need to increase it to the value of your home. So, you're going to have $825,000 worth of coverage based off of your occupancy. So I'm like, well, fuck, I'm going to take a chainsaw downstairs and remove it because I don't have a loan for 3,100 square feet. I have a loan for 1,500 feet. So fuck you. I'll just go through and delete it. But, it gets so much worse than that. It's just like the tip of the iceberg. It's like, okay, well, yeah, we're going to have a mistake. It'll be the government's fault. Or it's because we're attacking another country and, maybe there's a bunch of towelheads running around and they're, doing the Arab thing and just burning shit because we're killing their people, and obviously it's over nuclear power and it's not over, the banking institute or money. Money has nothing to do with it. Obviously morals are the most important thing, which is why, we abandoned all of the women who got educations who are now sex slave in Afghanistan. So, the moral fiber of, they have nukes, we need to go there. It's like, yeah, if you had an inkling of morals, you wouldn't be dealing with it in that way. So, I'm not angry at Trump for doing it. I'm angry at Trump for allowing all these policies, all these fires to take place, allowing the insurance companies to go rampant. We put him in power so that we get a lower APR. I'm at like 6.75, so I'm paying like $4,100 a month before my next 333 increase, so $4,400 something a month for my house. My power bill just went up 200%, so not only do they get to start the fire, but they get to bill me for the availability to have power. Obviously they need to be maintaining things better, so let's go ahead and bill everyone. So there's a $400 fee for being able to have power, and then your usage bill, which is $200. So I get a $600 bill in the mail because obviously I need to pay for them not to make mistakes. I need to pay when they make mistakes. And the government, they could step in and say, hey, it's a national disaster. The insurance company is just paying their deductible. The federal government steps in. Everything gets covered. Maybe they go out of pocket some money, but they don't need to adjust their rates. They're insured to continue at that coverage. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Their policy might go up a little bit, but not $550 per residence. Like, give me a break. So, It's actually $883 once I take in the other stuff into account. So my bills just went up by like $1,500 a month. And, you know, we're sitting here thinking, okay, we're in a $400,000 modular home living in the middle of county. You know, we're out in the wilderness trying to survive. You know, if we live in the city, our power is like $135. But if you want to live on some land and you want to try to like raise chickens and, you know, survive, you know, you're going to have to commute into city where, you know, you're a criminal for driving while you're on your phone. And, you know, you're obviously worth charging because, you know, you're a danger to society for creating fires, even though they probably just, I think they did it themselves, honestly. They're just trying to force everyone into the cities. You know, people say, oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist. It's like, if the whole fucking nation's on fire, it's like, you want to tell me that, oh, yes, it's just global warming, you know, it's a little bit warmer, so, you know, obviously, it's like, no, there's this, like, strategic attack against the American people, by the American people. So, I don't blame the other countries. I think the other countries are going through the same thing. You know, I blame our country for attacking its own citizens. You know, you attack my APR, you attack my gas bill, you attack my energy bill, you attack me as a person, and you are trying to drive us out of our homes. Like, I don't have Arabs showing up with, you know, guns at my door. No, I have the government showing up with policies. And so it's like, okay, well, you know, we're going to try to figure out how to survive. I'll just fork out the extra thousands of dollars because, you know, life. And it really is thousands of dollars, because if it goes up, let's say $1,500, plus I'm about to drop an extra $400 in material trash fees this month. That's $1,900, plus the gas. Let's say I spend $100 on gas, and maybe I get a soda pop, right? I get a soda pop out of it. It's a pretty great experience for me. So I'm like $2,000 this month alone into just increased above and beyond 6.75% APRs that have not dropped since Trump got in office. So, you know, we're still being robbed blind for the last like several years. And thanks for that. But, you know, that wasn't enough. You needed to like keep pushing it. And now I'm terrified to be on my phone while I'm driving because, I mean, what if someone sees it? What if I get reported? What if a flock camera catches me and then I get a letter sent to the wrong address, and then all of a sudden there's a warrant out for your arrest, which I don't think is true. I don't think they'll do warrants, but, you know, basically the bill starts racking up interest because it went to the wrong address, or, you know, because there's a third road in county and there's a third road in Pueblo. So what's to keep them from sending the flock camera's bill to the wrong address? Nothing. Like, there's two addresses, almost the exact same. One's just Pueblo West, one's Pueblo. So it's like, oh yeah, well, we sent it, and so because we sent it and you didn't pay your bill, and this is true, like, if you don't pay it and they take away your license or whatever, you know, they can basically put out a warrant for your arrest. It's 1 year minimum in prison, or you have to like plead guilty and pay some fees. And so it's like, I spent like 2 years once like fighting one of these bills. And I was like, look, my insurance company put my name on mine, and my brother's name on his, my brother's name on mine, mine on my brother's. We're both fully insured. We just had the wrong names on the wrong accounts because we have the same rep, and she just mixed the vehicles up. So like, we're both fully covered. But yes, I guess I was driving his vehicle, which is mine, and they sent it to the wrong address. So I went in, I figured it out, I paid the bill, cash. They lost my cash. I left. I have no idea that they've stolen my cash. Don't pay cash to the DMV. Well, not the DMV, the court. So don't go to court and pay cash. They'll steal from you. And so, you know, I end up with them saying, well, because we mailed you a letter, even though you're innocent and you were insured and everything else, there's no ticket, there's no offense, there's no crime, right? Even though I had done everything appropriately, they were like, you're going to go to prison for a year. So I finally get in front of a judge after, like, I mean, I think it was like a year and a half. It took forever. And finally, I get in front of the judge, and he's like, well, where's your policy? And I was like, well, I don't have it. I gave it to the DA. The DA has the policy. He's like, he looked at the DA with like fire in his eyes. He was like, I fucking hate you people. He's like, why are you wasting my time? He's like, my office now. He called us back in the office, and he's like, he gave you the policy. And they're like, well, we don't have it. And he's like, but you knew he had one, and you still pushed for a court case over a mailing conflict that he paid for twice. It's already been paid for. And he paid for it again with a check. And they're like, well, you know, I mean, the law says that if he gets pulled over with, you know, driving without a license, he has to go to jail. And the judge is like, no, he's not going to jail. This is dismissed. Fuck off. And like, the judge doesn't use those kinds of words. But like, so it's like 2 years of stress for me. My heart's just racing like crazy because they mailed it to the wrong address. So like, take that times flock. You're just going to be flocking overwhelmed with this stuff. So, you know, I'm $2,000 out of pocket this month. Fantastic. Thank God I kick a lot of ass and break a lot of laws. I'm going to keep breaking laws. Actually, you know what? I'm going to burn the rest of this. There's the firewood right there. There's some more of it over there. I think this video is giving me the confidence to tell them to flock off. Because if I'm going to pay $2,000, why shouldn't I burn something? The fire was over on that mountain. Started by the energy company that's billing us and driving us to like go to the dump and do stuff. So is a lot of trash just wood? Yeah, a lot of trash is just lumber. You know, we load it up, we take it, I sort it out, I fill up some of it into there. You know, if it's metal, I might deal with it some other way or donate it. If I burn it, I'll be breaking the law, but I'll save 7 and 7 is 14. $54. So I can become a criminal for $54? Yeah, it's worth it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Fuck yeah. Let's turn citizens into criminals over $54. Yeah, it's worth it.